Good morning, and welcome to day 4 of 365 Days of Stories with Theo Mayer. Yesterday, I left off telling Grab All, Lose All, and today I hope to finish that story. I left off with a wealthy man who still held title to the farmer's property, coming to visit the farmer. He arrived with his 2 strong men very early one morning when he knew the farmer would still be home. Knocking on the door, the farmer came to it and welcomed the wealthy man and his 2 strong men into the house. He seated them at the table. His wife prepared a beautiful tea for the 3 of them. But it wasn't long before the wealthy man made clear why he had come to visit and asked the question of the farmer where he had actually come up with that beautiful gem that was so priceless. The farmer, who was a very honest man, told the wealthy man everything. The wealthy man sat somewhat in disbelief that such a thing could be possible. But he made a condition with the farmer that if this was indeed true, then the farmer would need to lead him to that tree and take that trip with him and his 2 strong men to the beach on the next full moon. If the tree in fact carried them to that beach, and it was as the farmer said, then all would be well. But if that didn't happen, then the wealthy man would do something. He was not quite sure what, but something to make certain that that farmer did not hold on to the wealth that he had acquired from selling that gem. Well, the days passed, and as you might imagine, the farmer was a little concerned whether the tree would actually lift off the ground again. Could it happen a second time? Was it really the full moon that was the magic? He didn't know. And so the whole month that he waited for the moon to again be full was one that every day he worried. Finally, the night of the full moon arrived. And as had been prearranged, the wealthy man and his 2 strong men came to the farmer's house just after the evening meal. The farmer led the 3 other men to the tree, and all of them climbed up into its branches and waited. They waited a long time, and I will tell you that during those couple of hours that they waited, some good conversation was shared. There was some laughter, some smiles, but the farmer, though the conversation was pleasant, never really could open up to trusting that wealthy man and his intentions. As had happened before, at about the same time, midnight or a little after, the tree began to shake and tremble. All the men held on as tightly as they could as the tree lifted off the ground and began to travel through the air. Still, the farmer was worried. Would it indeed take them back to that beach? Who knew? The tree traveled on through the air at that height that it had been before. And All of the men looked down in amazement as they traveled over the landscape. Imagine the wind blowing past their bodies, and the tree just traveling through the air, and the incredible view that you would have in the moonlight as it traveled across the landscape. As had happened before, the tree began to descend, and it landed again on that beach, the beach that was filled with jewels. The farmer stayed in the tree as the three men, the wealthy man and the two strong men, jumped down out of the tree and began to pick up the beautiful, glistening, sparkling jewels. The farmer, as he had done before, untied his turban, tied it to a branch, got down onto the beach, and picked up a handful of beautiful jewels, which he placed into his turban, wound it back up round and over his head, and climbed once more into the branches of the tree. Amazingly, we're having a big storm here, and a tree just came down outside with quite a crash. Well, the farmer was up in those branches as the tree began to tremble and shake again. The two strong men and the wealthy man were far across the beach. They had brought bags with them, and they were scooping handfuls of these jewels into the bags, much as they could carry. The farmer yelled out, come quickly. The tree is lifting off the ground." The wealthy man turned and looked and began to run in the direction of the tree, while the two strong men didn't even notice. They were so caught up in picking up jewels. Sadly, the wealthy man did not make it to the tree before it lifted so far off the ground that he could not reach it. The tree sailed through the air as it had before, and in a short amount of time settled back down upon the banks of that river, as if it had never moved at all. The farmer returned to his house to the relief of his wife, and as far as I know, that wealthy man and his two strong men were never heard of again. As far as I know, the farmer and his wife are still living quite happily today, their children having grown up, still enjoying the wealth that comes with a pure and honest heart and an intention to do what is right and good. And that is the story of Grab All, Lose All. Thanks for joining, and hopefully see you tomorrow.